Hi and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is TheMeshaBrand, and if you're not, thank you so much for tuning back in. We have a little bit of a different type of content today. So we're going to be reviewing this, the Mega by Mario Surreal Skin Foundation. Okay, so if you own an iPhone and you open it and you happen to go to any social media app, you absolutely have seen people talking and going crazy about this foundation. I would say like mid-trifling, because I've had this foundation since like January and I have not tried it out. So I figured the best way for me to try it would be to sit down and try it with you. Okay, so a couple things before we get into it. Just because you might be asking, like, why are you qualified to tell me about your perspective on this foundation? And I feel like we live in like a world where a lot of people opinions are like buttholes, like everybody has one. But I would like to give you, or I would like to take the time to, I guess, like explain why you should care about my perspective on this foundation. So number one, if you watch my vlogs, any of them, you will at some point hear me talk about what it is I do for work. So I'm actually a product developer, which means I develop cosmetic products. But before then, I mean, I've worked for some of your favorite makeup companies. So be it MAC, be it Anastasia Beverly Hills, be it Urban Decay, I've worked for, and at the time when I worked for them, they were the favorite. So maybe Urban Decay is not your favorite right now, but baby, do you remember Naked Palettes? That's when I worked for them. So anyways, I say all this to say, like, if you watch my review, if you watch another content creator's reviews, you're gonna hear probably conversation regarding how it feels, how it looks, a lot of aesthetic things, where like I really like to get into the nitty-gritty with you guys. Let's talk about value. Let's talk about finish, and how does the finish really speak to what the brand is claiming that the finish should look like. Let's talk about the ingredients. Like, let's really get into the full evaluation of the product versus simply, I like it, guys, go buy it. Like, that's just not my perspective, and I just kind of feel like if that was going to be my approach, I wouldn't be sitting here doing these videos, because at that point I don't really have a point of difference to offer you guys. So we've gotten into all of that. Like, let's actually get into the foundation. So I do have notes here, and you'll see me kind of looking off to the side just to kind of like make sure I'm good with my notes. So upon first impression, we have this beautiful cardboard box. What I love here is that they gave you a little shade window on the side, just to make sure. How many times have you bought a foundation and you got home and like maybe it was the wrong shade in the box? So they do give you this nice little window here so that you can see like, what foundation am I buying. I do enjoy this era of like minimal deco right now. Like, you don't need 50 billion things. We don't need pink written all over it, you know. We just need the actual shade. So all right, I was trying to open this box eloquently, not happening on camera. Okay, immediately you slide it out, and I mean, the bottle is gorgeous. It has a nice, like, beautiful weight to it, but like, all we need to know is that it's by Mario. Honestly, like, if I had a makeup brand, just by Misha, that's it. Like, we don't need to talk about really nothing else. Just know that this is my foundation. So then we have this beautiful white cap. You open it. You have a super sleek, beautiful metalized pump. I'm a pump girl. Like, I feel like brands are getting away from pumps. Like, no, we need a pump. Because honestly, a pump really helps you like dosage how much product you're gonna need. Do I need one pump? Do I need half a pump? If there's no pump, what am I doing? I'm wildin'. But anyways, I think this is gorgeous. So that's it on package. As far as and you can see too, okay, this is what I've seen people talking about. I don't know if you can see or if the camera's gonna pick it up, but it has these very fine light reflecting particles in the formula. Like, I don't know if the camera is even gonna be able to see that, but that's why people were like, oh, like, is it gonna be glittery? You think somebody made a glittery foundation? Is that what you think? No. When products have a ever so slight, very small pearl in them, is what you would call it, it's really just to add to the appearance of lumosity. So this foundation, upon me not even applying it, I can tell it's going to be probably pretty radiant, probably pretty luminous. So yeah, that's what that is. Like, don't look at it and think that you're gonna have glitter on your skin, because you won't. And then it's a 1 ounce fill, so 30 milliliters, which is honestly industry standard. You're gonna get it, but what I love is how like it kind of looks like you have more because of the thickness of the wall of the glass. Anyways, I'm a nerd about packaging, so I just wanted to really like hone in on that. So if you go up to the counter, you guys will call it a counter, I will call it a gondola. If you go up to the gondola, the Makeup by Mario gondola in Sephora, you'll see the shades laid out, and they're kind of like windowed and staggered, and they're beautiful, and there's 30 shades. I was able to shade match myself just because I have a skill set too while I was in Sephora. If you ever want to shade match yourself, I literally just grabbed one of like their Q-tips. If there's no Q-tip, just literally grab a lipstick wand, like a disposable one, and you can pump a little bit on there. And I'll show you what I did to shade match, and we'll kind of like check. You could like, because sometimes them Sephora lights be a little tricky. So we can fact check me here, but I am the shade 230. So here, I'll just kind of show you what I do if I'm going to shade match. Do I have just like a little flat something? I'll just use this. Okay. So you want to pump some out on something sanitary. In Sephora, it would just be whatever disposable that they have. This is typically my primer brush, but I just want to use this to demonstrate to you. And you didn't have to actually pump too many times before it came out. So you always want to shade match on your jawline because you want to be able to see the deepest and the lightest tones of the face. So right here on the jawline, you're gonna get that natural contour area, which is probably gonna be your darker. And then like, you know, you'll see the rest of your face, but also you want to link it to your neck. Now, I like to shade match myself when I go into store because I know myself, and I know that my neck has hyperpigmentation. So I know that my face and my chest will always match, so I know kind of where to match it at. But essentially all you want to do is take a little amount and just kind of like swatch it on the cheek. If you had like multiple shades, you would do one, you know what I mean, like do multiple in one area. So what I like to do is let it sit for a while, and the reason why you want to do that is because the color may shift as it starts to dry down, but additionally you want to make sure that if the foundation will oxidize, that you give it that time to do so, because the shade when you first place it down versus when it sets could be two different shades. You want to make sure you get the one that's most accurate for you after setting, because I mean that's going to be the look for the majority of the day. So I've had a little bit of time. I'm just going to take my kabuki brush here. I have a brush 830. Does it blend? Can I see it? Does it look like me? I would say yes. If you don't think so, that's fine, but I'm gonna wear 230. Okay, so that's the shades. I feel like when I took a look at the shades holistically, I felt like they had a really good diversity, not just in levels, because I feel like that's what people look at first. They're like, oh, what's the lightest shade? What's the deepest shade? What are the shades in between? Those are levels, right? But we also want to make sure that there's a good amount of shade diversity as far as undertones are concerned. I know that I'm a cool undertone. I know that also brands will define it differently, so a lot of times, like, even if it says warm, I'll still pick it up, because you guys, there's no like universal way. Like the way that Bobbi Brown defines cool and warm honestly may be different the way Too Faced defines cool and warm. They're just different. There's no like council that like really regulates it, and you're really like at the end of the day just relying on a one person or a team's eye and what they deem cool and warm. So don't get too hung up on that. Like if you're shopping outside of your normal foundation range, like try on the cool, try on the warm, try on the neutral, because every brand honestly defines it differently. I learned how to define it off of MAC shades. That's where I learned. So NC, cool. NW, warm. So like my eye still kind of thinks of that, but just don't get caught up or hung up on undertone. Just get what literally looks like your skin, which I think I've done a good job of, because I can't even see where I originally put the foundation on it. Oh, I did want to tell you this. When I was talking about sometimes Sephora shades are weird, I don't think you guys realize, like, Sephora will literally let you do the fool in there a little bit. Like, you could pull 3 foundations. Let's say you wanted to pull the NARS Natural Radiant, you wanted to pull the Skin Surreal by Makeup by Mario, and you wanted to pull another foundation. You could literally go sit yourself up at the beauty studio, shade match yourself. And something about, like, sometimes the Sephora lights are tricky, but what I used to tell people when I would have to support Sephora for the day is like, okay, swatch this, and then obviously with no product in your hand, I'm not encouraging you to steal, but with no product in your hand, ask them, can you see a mirror, and then walk outside. even if you're in a mall, even if it's like a strip and you'd walk outside, you're gonna get more natural lighting, and then you can kind of take a look and see what the best fit is for you from there. That's a tangent. We'll get back to the foundation, but I just really want to empower y'all to like take your makeup and shade matching into your own hands. Like, you don't necessarily have to wait and like, and honestly, the Sephora girls be so busy, they will be appreciative that you decided to do that. So the finish is natural, meaning it should look like skin. I feel like natural be hanging y'all up a little bit, but I feel like it's probably gonna give naturally radiant simply because of the shimmer particles that are in the formula. But it should look like your skin, and honestly, like from just like this little swatch that I did, it does look like skin. I'm gonna go ahead and do a full-on application at this time. I've already laid my primer, which was the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. So what I like to do is distribute all over the face. I guess I'm just have to clean my primer brush, but I like to do just like a light distribution kind of all over the face. And you can see there's areas too where like where I'm swatching it at, or laying the foundation at, it's could be a little darker, you know, could be a little darker, but I think that's what makes it overall, like the foundation is darker than certain parts of my face, but just like it's lighter than certain parts of my face, so it helps you get a full-on distribution. Okay, so I like to buff my foundation in with a brush. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. And you can see too, like as I'm buffing this out, it's blending very seamlessly. It's super comfortable too. Like, it doesn't feel like I have on foundation. I use a combination of like stippling and also like, you know, circling, but the only thing I will say is like it kind of has like a smell. Ooh, this is not good. It kind of has like a smell to it. I don't love that, and not like a fragrance smell, like not like an intentional scent. It just, I don't know. I think it's when it like something in the formula smells funny is what I'm trying to articulate here. Okay. I look wet, but I think once it like, you know, sets in, I won't look as luminous, but I do feel like I look a little wet. But for the girls that get it, we want hydrated skin. Speaking of hydration, there are two like core ingredients in the formula. One is squalene, and we're seeing squalene everywhere, but it makes sense because squalene is literally amazing. Huge on hydration, huge on evening this texture of the skin. Like, squalene's dope. So we have squalene, and then we also have grapeseed oil in the formula. Grapeseed oil is good for, again, the same type of thing, like retexturizing the skin, having a smooth surface, like speaking to hydration, and it also deals a little bit in lightening old blemishes or like hyperpigmentation. So I think you'd have to use this foundation probably, because it doesn't tell you obviously what levels they're at, and that's another thing, is like when you're looking at foundation or any face product and they talk about these skincare ingredients, like you absolutely can trust that they're in there, but you don't know at what level they're in there. If it's in there this much, it's not really gonna do anything, it's just in there. But if this is like at a really good rate, you could potentially see your skin really changing over time if you use it every single day. The issue is, like, I'm nobody's every single day foundation wearer, so I would never see that. But on the dry down, yes, she's cute. She's cute. I like her. Okay, so I went off camera, did my makeup, came back, and this is what the final look looks like. I actually really like the foundation. What do I have here? I actually really like the foundation. I think she's cute. I think she's hydrating. I think that the color clarity is there. You definitely could find your shade. I think all of those things. I do feel like at a price point of $42 though, I don't know if I feel like you couldn't find this in a drugstore foundation. Like, I think you could find a formula very similar, touting maybe very similar benefits, and I think that you could find this at a drugstore price point. I don't know if I feel like you have to buy $42 to purchase it, but if you haven't, and listen, and tricking if you got it, I think it's a great foundation. I would purchase again. Let me know what you guys think. I feel like I'm talking a lot. If you love the foundation, as soon as I swatched it and you couldn't wait, you grabbed your shade before the video was over, say that. If you feel like I look like Bozo the Clown and you hate my makeup, say that too, respectfully though, and be ready to tussle. I just feel like I really enjoyed the foundation. I think it looks great. I actually went ahead and used, I have the Makeup by Mario in the shade Dusty Rose, like the blush stick. I used that with it. I think it played well with the foundation. You still have like a really pretty amount of dew, but you don't look wet. I don't like to look wet, but I like to look dewy. So yeah, I hope you really enjoyed the foundation. I hope you, the foundation, what? I hope you really enjoyed the video. I hope that it gave you a really holistic perspective on the foundation. And let me know if you guys plan on purchasing it. If you have already purchased it, what are you loving about it? What are you hating about it? Let me know down below in the comments. And yeah, I think we'll be doing more of these, because makeup is really a love for me. Vlogging is kind of like a hobby, but I really do like makeup is my shit. Like I work in it, I love it, it's great. So hopefully you enjoyed the video, and then let me know if you guys, like I went and did my makeup off camera, but like maybe you want to see the full thing, because the makeup routine that I have on my channel is extremely old. I don't even know if I use any of those products anymore, so definitely not the most relevant. But she's up there in case you want to see her. But if you want to see like how I did my brows, what I do now, like how my like how I prime different, my setting is different. As you can see, I just have a butter gloss on right now, because like that's pretty much the vibe right now. It's giving clean girl, although I hate the aesthetics, but it is giving clean girl aesthetic. Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and close this video out. I'll see you guys at the vlog that I'm about to drop, so make sure you go watch that. Bye.